Hello everyone, I welcome everyone to this new video. In this video, we are going to talk about Indian polity. So, in our combined 2 examination, polity part contain 20 marks. Okay, Indian polity in context of local self government and Panchayati Raj. Okay, so to understand this concept, Panchayati Raj and local self government, and some basic things like what are the schedules, what are the parts of constitution, what is preamble, what is fundamental rights. So to understand all these things, because these are important things and these are the questions which they ask in exam. In previous year question you can very easily identify them. So to understand these concepts, we should have a just overall outline idea of overall sketch of our constitution. What is the evolution of our constitution? We don't have to remember these things, but we should know from where it is coming. So let's get started. Indian polity. So first of all, understand one thing. There are three parts of history: ancient, medieval, and modern. Okay, so here we will not talk about ancient, we will not talk about medieval, we will talk about modern. Okay, so in modern Indian history, in latter parts of medieval India, like in 1600, what happened that time? That time the sea voyagers, okay, from different parts of the world, they were in search of land, they were traveling in search of land or business something. Okay, so that time so many foreigners like Dutch, Portuguese, English, French, and other people came to India. Okay, for any purpose maybe. So from that time onwards, this Indian polity history starts. Okay, so just understand one thing. Approximately around 1600, the arrival of British as traders, that is East India Company, was observed in Indian soil. Okay, so now we have to understand a total timeline. Okay, since 1600 till 1947, our independence, India's independence from British. So there have been a sequential events which lead to foundation of our Indian polity. So in exam you don't have to remember this, but to understand other things like fundamental rights, preamble, parts of India, parts of constitution, etc., other concept, you should know this outline, this timetable, this historical timetable. Okay, so let's get started. See, this is the timetable. Like this is the timeline actually. Like here, 1600, in 1600 around, arrival of British as traders East India Company into Indian soil. Okay, then 1765, grant of Diwani rights to East India Company by Shah Alam. Okay, next 1773, British started doing business in India, and to that business and to regulate that business, they started to formulating some laws. Now you should understand one thing. British British rule is divided into two parts, main two parts. What are those two parts? One is the crown rule, another is the company rule. Like East India Company at some point of time ruled India. After that ruling part was taken over by the crown, that is British Parliament. Okay, so in companies rule time tenure, companies rule tenure mainly comprise the event before the 1857. Okay, before the revolt of 1857 is companies rule, and after the revolt of 1857 it is known as crown's rule. Okay, so here 1773 regulating act, 1781 act of settlement, 1784 Pitt's India Act, 1813 Charter Act, 1833 Charter Act, 1853 Charter Act. So these were the acts, rules and regulation were passed to regulate their business into India. Okay, so this complete thing is called companies rule. Okay, next, now companies rule has been taken over by the crown. Okay, British Parliament. So since the crown rule, the legislature, the laws has been different from the company's rule. Okay, now see what are the different rules. Where 1858 Government of India Act, 1861, 1892, 1909. These three were Indian Councils Act. Okay, next 1919 Government of India Act. This is very important. I will explain it. Okay, don't worry. 1932 Communal Award. 1935 Government of India Act of 1935. Then 1947 Indian Independence Act. Okay, so since these laws, these rule, Government of India Act 1999, Government of India Act 1935 and Indian Independence Act 1935, these two are very important. From here only the base foundation of our constitution has been taken up. Okay, see, you don't have to remember this timeline, not at all, not required. In your combined examination nothing will come from this table. Okay, so you don't have to remember. I just gave you this this for just an idea, so that you don't feel void from inside, like what is the history and all. Okay, now the actual thing will start. Okay, 1947 onwards, let's start. Here in 1946 one very important event took place. 1946. Okay, now in 1946 there were cabinet mission. Okay, and what was the purpose of this mission? The purpose of this mission was to form a constituent assembly. Okay, and in this constituent assembly will play a very important role in future. For example, in November 46, 1946, constituent assembly was under cabinet mission plan. Okay, November, December 9th 1946, you should know the timeline. Okay, first meeting of constituent assembly took place, and it was presided by Dr. Sachadanand Sinha. Okay, next, now you see the timeline. Okay, 9th December it was. Next is 13th December 1946. In 13 December 1946, Jawaharlal Nehru moved historic objective resolution. Okay, next, then in 1997, see the timeline. Okay, in 1947, Indian Independence Act was passed. It means India got its independent. Okay, and in, now this date is very important, 26th November 1949. On this date, the motion of draft constitution was declared as passed. Okay, so 26th November 1949, the already drafted constitution was passed. Okay, now 26th November 1949, this day is very important. This day was chosen as the date of commencement. And why this date was chosen for commencement? Because Purna Swaraj Day was celebrated on 26th January 1930. So, okay, so to give that date importance, Purna Swaraj Day, this 26th November 1949. Okay, 6th, no, not November, it's 26th January. 26th January, and here also 26th January. So this, on 26th January, our 1995, our constitution was commenced. Okay, so in this timeline you should know few important dates. Not all dates are important. Okay, first date you should know is the fact you should know is this thing: Jawaharlal Nehru moved historic objective resolution. In exam they may ask who moved the resolution of who moved the objective resolution. The answer will be Jawaharlal Nehru. Next, this two date, if any date you have to remember, you should remember this two date. Okay, 26th November 1949, on this date that motion of draft constitution was declared and passed. And 26th January 1947, on this date our constitution was commenced. Okay, next, there are some committees. Okay, now you should understand one thing. In the Constituent Assembly, we have here Constituent Assembly. Okay, like you see, Constituent, we have here Constituent Assembly. In Constituent Assembly, there are some committees. Okay, there are some committees. Okay, there are some committees, and within these committees there were 8 major committees and 15 minor committees. Okay, so within these 8 major committees, there were committees on union power, union constitution, provincial constitution, etc. But you should know only two. One is drafting committee, another is advisory committee. Okay, and within minor you don't have to read anything. Now, in drafting committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of drafting committee, as you all know that. Now you should remember all the members of drafting committee. Okay, so drafting committee members are where drafting committee members were number 1 N.G. Iyengar, A.K. Iyer, Dr. K.M. Munshi, S.M. Sodolla, N.M. Rao, and he was replaced by B.L. Mitter and T.T. Krishna Achari, and he was also replaced by D.P. Khaitan. Okay, so you should know who was the chairman of drafting committee. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of drafting committee, and who were the other members who were in the drafting committee. Okay, so drafting committee is done. Next one is advisory committee. In advisory committee there were different portfolios, like fundamental rights. The things related to fundamental rights were dealing by J.B. Kriplani. Okay, minorities H.C. Mukherjee. One important for our exam is North East Frontier Tribal areas and Assam excluded and partially excluded areas. And who was the head of this committee, advisory committee? The head was G.D. Bordoloi. So this can be asked in your exam. Okay, so about this committee you should know this thing. You can take the screenshot. Also you should write your own notes. Okay, next, now we will start the reading the constitution. Okay, first thing we will read about our constitution is preamble. Now, what is preamble? Preamble is a part of our constitution or not? What is this? Okay, so let's get started. To understand this, what is preamble, we should know the preamble, what is exactly written over there. So let me write it here. We, the people of India, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens. Now understand one thing. Here there are few things we need to understand. This is the preamble, means this is the first page of our constitution. Here you should know this thing. The people of India. What is this? What is this, the people of India? These people of India is the source of authority of constitution. Our constitution gives the power to election commissioner, Supreme Court, etc., etc., etc. But from where does the constitution get the power? It is the people of India, who gave the power to the constitution. So ultimately the source of authority of constitution is we, the people of India. This is very important, always remember it. Next, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Okay. Now, what is this? This is basically the nature of Indian state. Now, what is the meaning of this nature of Indian state? Nature of Indian state means how India is going to be, how India is actually. Like, for example, here we have talked about different thing. You should know the intrinsic meaning of these words. Like, you should understand here one thing. In the preamble, there is a thing: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure all its citizen. There it talk about justice. Not only justice, different types of justice. Like, for example, justice constitute social justice, economic, and political. These three different types of justice will enjoy by the citizen of India. Next, liberty. What kind of liberty is going to enjoy by the citizen? The liberty is going to be liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. These are the different types of liberty that the citizen of India is going to enjoy. Next, equality. What kind of equality people are going to enjoy is the equality of status, opportunity. Okay, so this thing is actually intrinsic to this preamble. Okay, and this in our constituent assembly, this in the preamble, original preamble, there is also a date here, that is November 1949. Okay, precisely 26th. And what is the date of 26th November 1949? It is the date of adoption of constitution. Okay, adoption. Do let me know in the comment section, 26th January 1950 is called what? Okay, I already discussed in the above section. Next, now we'll talk about few things, few facts about preamble. Okay, one question: is preamble a part of constitution? Is preamble a part of constitution? See, yes, constitution is a part of constitution, but it is but yes it is a part of constitution, but it is not a source or limitation of power to legislature, and it is non-justiciable. Now you need to understand few things. It is not a source of limitation of power, means it doesn't act like limitation of power to legislate, like our parliamentarian. It don't play as a limitation to the our parliamentarian to prepare some legislature. Okay, and also preamble is non-justiciable. What do you mean by non-justiciable? Like DPSP, directive principle of state policy, I will discuss it later on. Like DPSP is a non-justiciable thing, preamble is also non-justiciable, means you cannot challenge this in the court. Okay, like you have not given the dash dash dash, so you have approached to the court and you said that it is written in preamble and I have been debarred from this. No, you cannot go to court for violation of these. Okay, you can go for other things, other rights, everything we will discuss later. This is the meaning of non-justiciable. Okay, next, now there are few cases related to preamble. Okay, like there is a question, is preamble a part of our constitution? And for that there were several cases in the court, and there are few related cases I will discuss here. Number one is Birubari Union case, Birubari versus Union of India case, 1960. In that case, Supreme Court told preamble is not a part of constitution. Next, Keshwanand Bharati case. This is a landmark judgment or case in Indian history. Keshwanand Bharati case 1973. In this case, Supreme Court told preamble is a part of Constitution. Next, LIC of India case 1995. In this case, Supreme Court also upheld that it is a part of Constitution. Okay. Now, as I told you, Keshwanand case is a very landmark judgment or case in history of India. What was that? In Keshwanand Bharati case, Supreme Court told that preamble can be amended under Article 368. Means, in this case, Supreme Court told that preamble can be amended under Article 368, but subject to condition that no amendment is done to the basic structure. So there is a concept called basic structure has come up to this case. So Supreme Court told that preamble can be altered, changed, or everything you can do, but you cannot change the basic structure. Supreme Court gave or invented a new thing called basic structure. Like you cannot change the basic structure. Without changing the basic structure, you can alter, change, edit, whatever you can do. So this basic structure thing is very, very important for our Indian Constitution. So this is also very important for your exam point of view. In exam question may ask, in which case the basic structure, the concept of basic structure has arise. Okay, that is Keshwanand Bharati case 1973 will be the answer. Okay, so you should know this. Till today, now one fact, till today, preamble has been amended once. Okay, that too 42nd Constitutional Amendment 1976. Do let me know in the comment section by what in this 42nd Constitutional Amendment what was added or what was deleted to the preamble. Okay, this is also important for your exam point of view. So you search it by yourself and do let me know in the comment section. Okay, next, some more fact, like as I already discussed, August 15, 1957, we passed a law, that is Indian Independence Act. So from 15 August 15 to January 26, 1950, the day of commencement of our Constitution, this time gap, in this time gap, what was the status of India? Like who was ruling it? Okay, because we had no constitution. So how India was getting ruled? At that time, the status of India was dominion in the British Commonwealth of Nations. India, after this 20th January 26, 1950, India ceased to be a member of British Dominion. Okay, but Pakistan was continued to be a British Dominion until 1956. This is a fact you should remember. Okay, sometimes they may ask in the examination. Now, our constitution has been prepared or made. Okay, and it has been commenced in 26th January 1950. Now you should know some sources of our constitution, like what are the other sources where this constitution has been prepared or inspired. Okay, so this is also very important. In exam, one or two questions they ask from this section, that is source of Indian Constitution. See, there are few sources. I will discuss one by one. First source is Government of India Act 1935. This is the most important source. Okay, this is also called blueprint of our constitution. And from this Government of India Act 1957, few things has been taken to our present constitution. What are those? Those are federal system. Okay, office of governor and emergency power. So in the examination they directly can ask, suppose office of governor has been inspired from which historical thing or something. Okay, which act? So that time you should know it has been inspired from Government of India Act 1935. Next is Constitution of Britain. Constitution of Britain. Number one thing that has been taken from this Constitution of Britain is law making procedure. Like in India, we have Lok Sabha, lower house, and upper house, Rajya Sabha. Okay, so one bill, if it is introduced in Lok Sabha, after passing from Lok Sabha, it will go from Rajya Sabha, and if it passed to Rajya Sabha, then it will go to President. And when the bill got the assent of President, that time it become an act. Okay, and before that it is only a bill. Okay, so in this procedure, this process was taken from British Constitution of British. Next, rule of law. Like what are the situation may be, what person may be, what powerful may be, or whatsoever, the rule of law will prevail always. Next, single citizenship. Now understand one thing. Suppose you are staying in Tripura and Tripura is a state under India. Okay, so basically you have a citizens, you are a citizen of India. You have one single citizenship. Okay, in India we have only one citizenship, but in America it is different. In America, suppose you belongs to a state called Seattle, or Seattle is a state or not, I don't know exactly. Suppose whatever, take a name of, take a, you are a state of, suppose, um, what is the name of that state? Pennsylvania. Okay. Suppose if you are a citizen of, if you are staying in Pennsylvania, then your state will provide you a citizenship, and also same, that state is under USA, United States of America. So USA will provide you a citizenship. So there it is a dual citizenship. But India, it is single citizenship. So this single citizenship has been taken from Constitution of Britain. Next is Office of CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General. Okay. Next, Constitution of USA. From Constitution of USA, several things has been taken. For example, independent judiciary. Like, what is independent judiciary? Like in India, judiciary have a power called judicial review. If any law violate the basic structure or anything, then the that bill or act is declared by the judiciary as ultra virus. Okay. So that bill or that act just lapse. Okay. So in India, judiciary is independent. They can take their decision own. Okay. But in England, it is different. In England, their parliament is sovereign. Okay. If the parliament has passed any law or anything, then in court they cannot challenge it, or court cannot struck it down. Okay. So this Indian system, Indian independent judiciary, has been taken from USA, United States of America. Judicial review. What is judicial review? Judicial review means, suppose any act has been passed in the parliament, and if people people can challenge it to the court, and if and court can decide on that. Okay. Next, fundamental rights has been taken from USA. Removal of Supreme Court, High Court judges, because judiciary is also inspired from Constitution USA. So the removal of High Court and Supreme Court is also inspired from USA only. Preamble is also inspired from USA. Next is Canada. From Canada, Federation, strong center, residuary power to center. See, in India, central government is powerful. Now, how can you say central government is powerful? Like in India, we have three lists: state list, union list, and concurrent list. Not union list. State list and concurrent list. State list subject related to state subjects. For example, education, health, agriculture, law and order, etc. In concurrent list, there are like national security, nuclear power, or etc. Atomic energy. These things come under the concurrent list. And another thing, the remaining the things out of these two lists, everything goes to center. Okay, that is why center is strong. Okay, next, Ireland. From Ireland, DPSP, Directive Principle of States Policy, and Presidential Election. Okay, so DPSP, I will explain in the later videos, later parts. DPSP is very interesting. Directive Principle of State Policy. I will explain it, okay? And the election process has been inspired from Ireland only. Next, Germany. From Germany, suspension of fundamental rights during emergency. Next, Australia. From Australia, idea of concurrent list. Okay, this idea of concurrent list has been taken from Australia. Next, South Africa. From South Africa, election of Rajya Sabha MP on the basis of proportional representation. Now, what is proportional representation? For combined 3 examination, you don't have to know, at least for the prelims. For the mains, you may know, so I will not explain here. It is a concept for my concept of voting. Okay, if you are interested, keen to know, just Google it. 9. France. It is Republican system. What is Republican system? Republican system is the head of the state is elected. Okay, it is not hierarchical or some monarchy something. Like our head of the state, that is president, is elected. But in England, but in Britain, head of the state is generational. Okay. Next, principles of liberty, equality, liberty, fraternity, etc. This concept has been taken from France. Next, former USSR. USSR, that time it was USSR, now it is Russia. Okay. The concept of fundamental duty has been taken from USSR. Okay, so for today I'll stop here. In the next part, I'll talk about parts of Indian Constitution, schedule of Indian Constitution. After that, I will explain important fundamental rights, important DPSPs, important fundamental duties, important article. It will contain article related to governor, president, then emergency. Okay, in the next video I'll talk this. Then after this video I will specially talk about panchayati raj and local self government. In this I will talk about its history. Okay, its history, present status, important article, laws, also PYQs. Okay, so this way it will go. So that's all for today. Thank you everyone.